Last night, I talked with a lot of people out in Milwaukee. They're excited.
Yeah.
82-0. Even the guy at my vitamin shop, I told you about this. He's a big Bucks fan, and he's I told you about Dame, and I'm like, pump the brakes.
Yeah. By the way, everyone knew about Dame.
And Winkler's 82-0. I told him, I said, you also said after week 1 the league wasn't ready for Jordan Love. So maybe just pump the brakes a little bit. It's a long season. I feel really good about Boston, to be honest with you guys. I think this is their year. And then in the West, I keep going back and forth, but I have until October 29th to make my official prediction. I could go back and forth until then, but I think I'm going to go back to the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to be lazy.
Is that about for a title?
Yeah. I'm going to be lazy. I just don't trust the Suns. I don't trust all three of these guys, all three of their superstars, to be out on the floor every single night, even when we get to the playoffs, even if they use load management. So,
well, they're clearly already doing that.
I watched Denver, man, and I mean, you said this, Nick, and actually both of you guys said this. They could probably go on a little Warriors run here, a little dynasty, if they stay healthy. That's what it comes down to. Can Jamal Murray stay healthy? But you watch them, and they have so many guys that could catch and shoot the basketball. Christian Brown has gotten a little bit better, it looks like. Didn't go over 5.5 points, unfortunately. For me the other night, only had 5. But yeah, so I'll be lazy, and I'll just go with Denver and Boston.
But I don't even think that's lazy. You're watching a team that just won the title, and you're saying they have a chance to win the title again.
Yeah.
You know, I hate when people get down and put chalky picks like that down. Okay, yeah, you're not going to get the value in that if you bet it, but the Nuggets are really good. Let's not overthink this here. There's a reason why they won the title last year.
I just don't like watching games with anybody anymore. I used to think even my
us?
brother, my cousins. No, I mean I love you guys and I love my job again, but I really like just being alone.
You want to sit at home and watch the games you really care about. I'm kind of that way. Games I care about, I don't want to go out and watch.
Yeah.
I want to watch them at home too because there's an emotional investment there, a financial investment, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Now, if there's other big games that, all right, I got a little sprinkle on something, or I'm really just going to go out, we're going to go out to a bar and watch.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. But it's but even if I'm out there, I want to be in a place where other people care about games that are on. It's got to be like a sports bar.
Yeah.
It can't be like some restaurant where they've got a couple of TVs over the bar, or even a bar that just doesn't have the sound on. And I want to go to at least a place, if I'm out, where the people care about sports being on.
Right, exactly. Like tomorrow, for example, Purdue. 2.5-point dogs against Nebraska. I don't want to talk to anybody for those 4 hours because that makes or breaks my weekend. So I just want to sit in peace, probably not a whole lot of peace. I'll be screaming at the TV. I'll be sweating. I'll be pacing around the living room, and I just want to be left alone.
I wouldn't bet on Pitt again this season with a gun to my head. I wouldn't bet on Pitt with somebody else's money.
I bet their win total over, Thor.
Yeah, even if it was a Clockwork Orange situation with my eyelids propped up, I will not watch Pitt football again this season. I've been subjected to too much. At this point, I would consider it a human rights violation. In this game, it's Notre Dame or nothing. I couldn't believe that the end for me with Pitt was when I was on them against the Wake Forest team because I'd been tipped off earlier in the week that the top 2 Wake Forest quarterbacks were not going to play. And you have this guy who has 6 career passing attempts, who is a converted safety, their quarterback 3, on an offense that was already terrible for Wake Forest, that he was going to be starting. And, of course, Pitt was going to beat that team, and they were up until the very last drive. And then Pitt allows that kid to go 70 yards in 40 seconds to beat him for a touchdown drive. That Pitt team, something is seriously, seriously wrong with them, and now they've gone to this below kid. I think Notre Dame is going to drum Pitt in that game, so it's Notre Dame or nothing.
Utah-Oregon, though, Thor, is the one I think a lot of people have circled if you're looking for just a matchup, 2 top 25 teams, 2 obviously with, the Pac-12 this year has just been absolutely incredible. So let's just look at that from a big picture here first. We know what Oregon can do offensively. We also know what they can do defensively. Can they cover the 6.5 in that game?
I'm going to take the points with Utah in that game.
Okay.
We do know what Oregon. Yeah, well, hey,
this is a duck. Don't let this duck boo you, Thor. Don't let this former Oregon duck over here boo you. She's just ignore her.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon going on the road, I do think they can grind out a win here, but by margin, I'm not sure against a Utah team where we've seen them do it to so many good teams. And they're going to be able to run the ball on Oregon, I think. Oregon has a really good pass defense, a better pass defense, I think, than they even had last year when they had Christian Gonzalez. So, you tip the cap to them for that. But I do think Utah is going to be able to establish the run here. And Utah obviously has a very, very good defense. So they're going to be able to suppress the scoring, turn it a bit into a rock fight. I'll take the 6.5 points with a team that plays very, very well at home.
I'm curious. I don't know if you saw what Alex Smith had to say about Utah. They're going to be bullying Oregon around and that they've been brewing something there for a long time. I felt that to be very disrespectful. I don't think that they've seen an offense quite as potent as Oregon with its balanced defense because USC, obviously, terrible defensively. Do you see this as a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
I see it as a low-scoring game, and yeah, that's a bit dismissive. Oregon plays a bit of bully ball themselves. I think it's two bullies going up against each other, but I don't think that Oregon is going to be able to assert their will in the same way where I don't think that Utah is going to be able to assert their will. I think it's two barroom brawlers that are just going to stand in the middle of the ring and just beat each other up.
You know, we look at this and go, okay, we know what Oregon can do offensively. We know what they can do defensively. What's your feel kind of on this game right now in terms of, I guess we just keep it simple. What's your feel on where this game's going to go tomorrow?
Well, I mean, how do you beat Utah at home? You know, that long winning streak at home, 12-7 against the spread in their last 19 home games. They keep exceeding expectations every year under Kyle Whittingham. When Urban Meyer said this week that Kyle Whittingham was the best coach in the country, if you parse that out a little bit, it's not like unnecessarily true in terms of what he gets out of his players. It's incredible. So for Oregon to be favored by that many points is risky. I still think Oregon's going to win the game. I think the running game is a little bit better, and Bo Nix, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, they'll break that win streak. But, I mean, you're playing with fire when you're betting against a team that's won that many home games in a row.
Are you concerned at all, Bill, offensively for Utah, considering that they really haven't gone up against as balanced of a team in the Pac-12 yet as Oregon, and they still don't have Cam Rising there?
Right, and they're not going to have Cam Rising, obviously. That piece of drama was eliminated, but I was impressed with Bryson Barnes against USC. Granted, it was USC, but in that defense, but the way that he drove them down the field at the end, they're kind of using a patchwork group of running backs. They're going to try to muddy the game up a little bit. I think they can have some success on the ground. I'm actually a little more concerned on the other side because as good as Utah is up front, and they're good, Oregon, USC averaged 6.3 yards per carry on them last week. And Oregon's got a better rushing attack around Bucky. And,
yeah, we do.
They do. They're pretty good with the running the football. That's the key to that game. And if Oregon does that, they're going to win.